into our new kind of series, right, which is retro tech. Retro tech is all about, it's a whole platform. We've been working on this for quite some time now. That's all about cannabis genetics. That's the number one goal. That's all it is. It's about cannabis genetics. It's about breeders. It's about the history, the stories behind it all. And I'm really excited to start to roll that out, guys, because it's just like, there's so much rich history there. And, it's just, it needs to be done. I think it's been done really well. It's been done well I think it's been done, well by other people. Definitely can't deny that. I think what we're going to be good at though is like kind of being like a neutral party that allows us to consolidate information from all over the internet, from different information sources. We have a pretty vast network now, and I'm just excited for that because yeah, we just got a lot of different stories coming up, and really like the take that we're going to have on retro tech, and I want to make this clear is, retro tech is going to be about us trying to preserve the stories that are involved with each genetic, right, each strain. And we're also, we're not trying to we're not trying to be like people that decide this is right, this is wrong. Like, we're going to do multiple volumes, right? So for example, like we did the OG Kush video, right? I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, whoever's watching, but the OG Kush video is really, that's like volume 1, right? There's other volumes that we're going to be rolling out eventually, on OG Kush, because it's just such a massive story. It's such a massive, massive strain, genetic, all the different phenols, all different cuts, right? So it's really complicated. So it's going to be multiple volumes. And the thing that I think is important to do is to like, I think it's important to tell all of the like legitimate stories that are connected to a genetic, right? Now, like there are, like we're gonna have to do a little bit of, investigating when it comes to like, trying to, find out just absolute bullshit stories. But at the end of the day, like I think it's really not really my place whatsoever to say what is exactly right and what is exactly wrong. I think it's just more so just us to preserve all of the history and tell all these different stories that are connected to it. And then, I'm actually thinking about doing like, we're building a whole like, platform for this that like people can go and like vote and like discuss it and, really decide, like have a conversation about it, because I'm really not trying to be, I don't want to be this thing. I don't want to be able to decide this is right, this is wrong. I mean, there's obviously going to be stories that are not going to be valid. Like, there's ways that we're going to be able to check that. But I think, I almost want to have like a separate like nonprofit, like a council of a bunch of different, people from all over the world that, are well regarded in the breeding community. And that's already kind of what the Breeder Syndicate kind of does, right? With shout out to Matt Riot, shout out to the Breeder Syndicate, shout out to all the cannabis, all the folks in cannabis genetics. But, I don't really have, any stake. I'm not a breeder, right? I'm not, I just want to help preserve stories, and I think that's super, super important, is just the preservation of it all. So yeah, I'm definitely excited about that. Like, so, we're really trying to tell like every single, we're trying to do what I think Leafly should have done with their two corporate /2. It's also just hard to do this, but we're going to try to create an entire library, right? Like hundreds of different documentaries that help tell the story of each genetic, that, help preserve those stories and make sure that people are, aware of what these strains mean. And in a lot of ways, like what a genetic is really in terms of, especially like when we talk about the older strains that are like, land races or more so land races. It's like, for example, like the Maui Wowie, right? It's like, it's a name of a genetic, it's a name of a strain that encapsulates not only like like an actual flavor profile, terpene, all that stuff, like obviously all the scientific stuff. It also though encapsulates an entire, like the anthropology around it is also important. Like it encapsulates like, groups of different people in a certain region that are having these different experiences.